Yeah, hey, so we're down at Kaituna Reserve once again. What I'm looking at today is I've got a new alcohol stove. Karen bought it for me just after Christmas. So this is a Lixada brand, however you pronounce it, there's the name on it. And so this is like basically a Trangia type stove where you use alcohol, liquid alcohol, or methylated spirits inside of it, put it inside of the main part of the body, and then that's actually a stove, like it'll heat the methylated spirits up. So alcohol stoves are one of the oldest form of outdoor stoves, and Trangia is probably the best known brand when it comes to these things, and actually probably the best quality as well. Yeah, so there's lots of cottage industries where they're basically making these alcohol stoves, and so what you can use in these things is denatured alcohol is what you're ideally supposed to use in them. It's readily available overseas but quite hard to come by in New Zealand, so in New Zealand we tend to use methylated spirits. And the other thing is you can get this gel that you stick into them that will work as well. So that's one of the types of fuel you can use in this type of stove. That's methylated spirits. That's available in most hardware stores and supermarkets, and you even find it like in garages and small shops in some places around the country. Denatured alcohol is the other thing that you can use. That's not so readily available. You'd have to buy it at a camping store or possibly like one of the bigger hardware stores. A bottle of 1 litre of methylated spirits at a supermarket is $3.50. And so there's two parts to the cooker. So you've got the cooker itself, which is this brass item here, and then there's like a stand that basically the wee cooker here fits into the top of the stand, and like I'll put it together and show you what it looks like. And then you just basically light these things up with a match, and then if you put a pot or something over the top, it heats it up. So this is the main body of the stove. That's the pin that holds it all together, and then you have this bottom shelf, which is what you would put the sticks on top of when you were cooking with sticks, and then this top one is the right size to fit the cooker into, the Trangia style cooker. Yeah. So the stove consists of two parts. So you've got like a Trangia style alcohol stove here, and then this item over here, that's actually the stand, and so you can take your alcohol stove and stick it in the top like that. So the pin holds it all together. And so there's the alcohol stove broken down into its three separate components. So you've got the main stove part here, and so your methylated spirits or denatured alcohol goes in the middle. And then there's a cap that goes on the top, and you can do that up and basically carry alcohol or mess inside of the container. And then this other item here is a simmer ring. So what you can do with that is you can open it to different degrees and stick it on top, and then when you finish with using the stove, what you can do is you can just put that on the top and it snuffs the flame out. This is a dual use stove, so you can use the alcohol stove, or you can take this top shelf off and then use it as a twig stove, where you just basically put twigs in there and then you cook your food or heat your water up with the sticks. And so there's the stove with a few sticks in it, so you know basically you would feed sticks in through the front like this as you were using it. I can't light that here today because there's a fire ban in this reserve, so I won't show you how that is, but the next time I take it out, like I'll do a wee film with it and I'll show you how it works. And so the stove, you can basically fold up, and it folds up, and then you can fit it into the wee carry bag here. And I'll film that. I'll take it down to bits and show you how it basically fits in there. And then there's this wee pouch for sticking your stove into, so you just stick it inside, tighten it up, there you go. I have to have a wee think about what I do with the whole system. Like I probably need a bag so I can carry it all together, like maybe a dry bag or like a small canvas bag. they're quite a gentle thing to use. Like, they're very quiet. You don't get that characteristic hiss you get with like canister stoves. So that water's just about boiled. They're not very efficient though. They take a really long time to heat up water. They will eventually do it, but I mean, you're talking like a difference of, so if you were trying to heat up a litre of water, you're talking like maybe 5 minutes to heat up a litre of water. These are even less efficient than those solid fuel stoves that I featured a couple of weeks ago. Yeah, so, but I mean, you know, if speed of like boil is not a big thing for you, then these are actually fine. If you buy an actual Trangia system, you can basically do any kind of cooking on the things. You know, you can heat water up, but you can also actually cook meals. And there's lots of videos online where people are like cooking up full English breakfasts and stews and stuff like that. I would never use it for that because it would just take so long to cook it. What I would tend to do with this is I would use it for heating up water for sticking into freeze-dried meals. These stoves are quite popular for people walking the Te Araroa Trail and the other long trails around the world, because the thing is, you can get the fuel just about anywhere. In New Zealand you can find it in multiple different places, whereas like gas canisters, they're quite hard to find. You normally have to go to some kind of outdoor store. Here in New Zealand they do sell gas canisters in shops like the Warehouse. Some supermarkets will stock them. Some little stores like in places like Arthur's Pass and Lewis Pass will also, sorry, not Lewis Pass, but like Nelson Lakes, St Arnaud, they will store them. So the thing with the stove is you don't actually need to have like an actual frame stove to stick this into. You can take a couple of rocks, you can light this and stick it in between a couple of rocks that have like, you know, maybe 1 centimetre to 2 centimetres of distance of height above this, and then you can just actually stick it in between the rocks and use them as your stove, and then you just put your pot across the top of it, and that's what a lot of people do. Like, you know, this stove here is quite compact, but it's actually quite heavy. It weighs like, I haven't weighed it, I'll put the weight up here so you can see how heavy it all is, but it feels like it's probably about maybe 250-300 grams. It's actually quite heavy. You can get titanium stoves which are much lighter than this, that might only be 40, 50, 60 grams, and that's probably what you should go for. This was a very cheap one that Karen found online, so you know, it's just made out of sheet steel or sheet aluminium, so that's why it's a wee bit heavier. This alcohol stove is the 8th stove I have now, which sounds stupid, but if you're an outdoorsy type person, you know, gearheads, you can never have too much gear. Like, all of the stuff has different uses. It's useful for different things that you might be doing. I'm going to take this out with me on a trip, possibly a camping trip actually, because it would be quite good for a camping trip, because you could cook your meals and then use the stove with some twigs just for like a wee twig fire. This would have been good on my camping trip when I went up to Arthur's Pass, because, you know, I was a bit wary about starting a fire in there with all the forest stuff. But what I could have done with this is I could have taken it with me and put tinfoil or like a pie plate or something similar underneath it, and then use this as like a wee fire, and then that way it wouldn't like set fire to the duff in the forest. It would be a safe way to use it. Yeah, so when I take it out for a trip, I'll make sure I put up a video of actually using it, showing you how I like use it for boiling water and stuff. And I may do that in fact and add it onto this video, but we'll just see what happens.